Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how I demolished Malenia with a strategy I discovered. There are some prerequisites, but I'll explain it all. Timestamps should be in the description and on the time bar also. Let's get into it. So the method I discovered does not insta-kill Malenia or anything like that, so you might argue that it isn't a cheese, but if done right, it will stun lock her for just about the entire engagement, so she will struggle to even throw an attack at you. It felt like a cheese, so that's what I'm calling it. So the two primary requirements for this method are the Mimic tier Ashes and one of my favorite weapons in the game, Margit's Cursed Sword. If you've gotten to this point in the game and you don't have either, I'd be very surprised. The Cursed Sword you can pick up from the Table of Lost Grace after defeating Margit, not to be confused with Margit, and the Mimic has a short side quest you need to complete. I'll link a guide below. Now the Mimic is just a summon that duplicates your character, super overpowered in my opinion. I will also point out that I beat Malenia after finishing the main story already with 60 vigor, 24 endurance, 45 strength, and 50 dex. For those who care, if you're underleveled, I'll link a rune farming guide down below. I also have a really powerful AFK rune farm coming out in the next couple days or so stay tuned for that. So you've got the Cursed Sword leveled up and hopefully a high level Mimic to summon. The Mimic lasting as long as possible is incredibly important. A couple times the Mimic died for me in the second half and it led to my death. So get that last bell offering if you haven't got it yet and level that Mimic up to level 10. Now to begin, ensure you do not have anything equipped except your sword. This way your Mimic is forced to use that weapon. Enter the boss room and summon the Mimic. You can sprint in and attack Malenia, but I recommend waiting for your Mimic to make the first move, and when the two have started fighting, look for an opening and use the Cursed Sword's skill. This will use a tiny bit of FP and a chunk of stam. When the flame explodes, it will stun Malenia, and your Mimic should join in and spam the attack alongside you. Now, if the timing is right, this will infinitely stun lock her while also stacking bleed. Be on the lookout for when she collapses, and you can hit her for some guaranteed damage. The first phase, I was able to beat her without taking a single hit, so you don't need crazy health. You just need to practice this strategy. The same goes for the second phase. If she gets lucky and breaks free from your loop, move away as quick as possible and she should unleash her combos on your Mimic instead. When she's done, use that opportunity to regain some stam and restart that loop. Now this might take a couple tries to get going, it definitely did for me, but when you get it right, she will die fairly quickly. Once you've killed her, there is a second part. If you haven't gotten to that yet and don't want it spoiled, then click off the video and come back. Now for the second phase, it's just about the exact same as the first. If your Mimic isn't very high level, you may have struggled to keep it alive this long, which is why I recommended you upgrade it. If it did survive, then this part is just as easy as the first. Dodge her dive at the start and try to move quickly away from the flower so you don't get hit like me. Now get her to attack your Mimic and lock her in the same loop. If she flies up to use her summons or long range attacks, then take your time and dodge them. When she's back on the ground, you want to rinse and repeat the stun lock loop until she inevitably crumbles. And that is how I beat Malenia fairly easily. I did beat her at level 250. But being high level in this game does not just ramp up the damage. Depending on what class you chose at the start of the game, you could match my damage output and my health at around level 120 to 150. I'm sure there are plenty of other ways to stun lock this boss with other builds like magic, strength, or incantations, so if you know of any of these, comment them down below to help some other people out. Although respecking is always an option, and of course you can always room farm too. I'm going to show you that last location for the last bell you need to purchase Ghost Glowwort 7, 8, and 9 so you can fully upgrade that Mimic. I hope the video helped some of you guys out, and I look forward to seeing you in future uploads. Take care guys, peace.